I really like Cage the Don video, but I don't think I've seen this one yet, so let's check it out.
Jinchurikis, tail beasts.
Oh, what? Hold on, hold on. Is the audio working? I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. It should be working. Oh, is it muted? Hold on. Oh, wow. How did I hear myself? Okay. It should be okay. It should be okay now.
Beasts with tails. Beasts without tails.
Nothing?
All 9-tailed
Okay, there you go.
Jinchurikis.
Okay.
Tail beasts. Beasts with tails. Beasts without tails. All 9-tailed beasts were created by the Sage of Six Paths using the chakra of the 10 tails. Each one of the tailed beasts were split up.
Oh yeah, spoiler warning if you haven't gotten this far in the Naruto. This anime is so old. I've basically seen most of it. I already know what happens in the future, but yeah, spoiler warning.
Up and given to different villages in an attempt to stop wars and keep the peace. Keyword being attempt, because that shit did not work. But what if I told you, in a village hidden in the mist, there resided another tailed beast brethren, not really of blood or chakra relation, but more like a stepmother that nobody liked, on some Cinderella type timing, except way uglier. I'm talking only a face a mother could love, and even moms might be a
jump
stretch.
scare.
The man of the hour is none other than Kisame Oshigaki. Today we're gonna be going back to some of Kisame's best all-time fights, analyzing the footage to really see why he's earned the tailless tailed beast title.
Okay, so boom!
Yeah, he's one of them ones.
Kicks off with Kakashi posted up outside this little restaurant. To nobody's surprise, he's over there reading one of his dirty novels. You know how his dirty self gets. But before he could get to the real freaky parts, Kurenai and Asuma pull up on him. Kakashi then proceeds to make a little quirky joke about them having a great time together. But this girl Kurenai is not trying to claim Asuma just yet. She got more prospects to scope out, so she's not dismantling the roster. Plus, this man inhales 7 packs of cigarettes a day. She is not sold on him being the one. So she quickly deflects Kakashi's remark, saying that she's only walking with him because Anko asked her to pick up some rice dumplings for him. Now, in that sentence, she didn't say anything crazy to the average ear. But with my keen attention to detail, it was with those words that I had an epiphany of a lifetime. It was at this exact moment that Anko's Hall of Fame plate cleaning career must have begun. It only makes sense, because how did she go from looking like this to this? You see, this is what happens when you start focusing on food over training. Your skills will not increase with this mindset. The only thing that will increase is the width of your back. And there's nothing wrong with big girls. But at a certain weight and build, you cannot be mad at me that I asked you if you played defensive tackle for the Chiefs. I'm just saying. Asuma then asks Kakashi what he's doing here, and that's when he lets them know that he was waiting for Sasuke to pull up. But right after giving them his itinerary, the camera pans to the table behind him, and that's when we see this oversized 6'5" gremlin in an Akatsuki robe trying to be mysterious with this gigantic hat on. This Hannah Montana ass disguise, which take the wig off, Miley, we know that's you. Kakashi clearly been peeped the nose burning dead fish smell emanating from the table, but before he could confront them, Sasuke pulls up on him, confused as to why he's here before him. He then takes a peek behind Kakashi, and that is when we see 2 steaming cups of tea with the 2 non-suspicious giant hat-wearing men nowhere to be found. With the suspicious disappearance of the 2 men behind him, Kakashi gives Kurenai and Asuma a discreet signal to chase down the 2 ninjas, and that's exactly what they did. Sasuke, now annoyed for some reason, has the audacity to demand that they go eat somewhere else, and that was the precise moment that my Sasuke hate boner was activated. He talking about something.
Let's eat somewhere else. I don't have much of a sweet tooth.
Nigga, are you paying? Always the brokey of the group making demands on what and where to eat. Hey, make sure you add some wings to the pizza order, bro. Brother, you pitched a quarter and a slightly torn Arby's coupon. You're not getting any wings. The camera then cuts to Kurenai and Asuma confronting the 2 Akatsuki members. They demand to know where they've come from and what they want. So that's when Itachi says, "It's been a long time, Asuma." Kurenai. And that's when they're met with the gaze of two Sharingans eyeing them down. Now off that reveal alone, I could tell they must not value their lives. To all my dons out there watching, it's okay to turn down a squabble from time to time, especially when
turn
it's
down
a
the
nasty
fade.
mismatch like this. The moment I even see a nigga reach for something in his waistband, I'm out of there. I'm not playing with my life. Just go get Uncle her dumplings and call it a day. You cannot hang. But nope, the two of them decide to stay. So the aquatic roach decides to introduce himself, talking about some.
I suppose I should introduce myself. Hope we can get acquainted later.
Now, I already thought Asuma was bold for deciding to stay in the first place. But this nicotine addict decides to take it a step further by saying, why should we wait till later?
When I can just wipe the floor with you both now.
I know this nigga didn't just... My days. Niggas always gotta act hard in front of the house. Some baddies come around and now your friend thinks he can fight Mike Tyson. Brother, you are 140 pounds.
What the frick is
with a
this?
wingspan on par with Tyrion Lannister from Game of Thrones. Please go and sit down. Nonetheless, Asuma continues to press them, but Kisame's finally had enough. So he whips out Samehada and now he is ready to box. He kicks off the fight by trying to slice Asuma in half, but Asuma dodges the blow. So Kisame tries to swing on him again, but this time Asuma whips out his chakra blades to block. Kurenai decides to get in on the action and attempts to use her genjutsu, but this woman obviously did not read the scouting report because she's dealing with the genjutsu god himself. She does not stand a chance. Asuma, still underneath Kisame's blade, is now starting to tremble and shake from its weight. So instead of trying to get out from under it, this man lets Kisame rip out a fat chunk of his shoulder with Samehada. Now before Kisame could get another chunk, Kurenai's genjutsu finally begins to come into play. A bunch of tree branches begin to emerge from the ground and slowly wrap Itachi up. She then pops out the tree behind him with a kunai in her hand, cocks that thing back and rushes it to his head. But in the blink of an eye, we see Itachi unrestrained while she's now wrapped up by the same tree. Her
Genjutsu.
Look at her in shock. She must have thought those eyes were for fashion. You better read about him. I'm not surprised though. I already knew that junk wasn't gonna work. Look how calm he was while getting wrapped up. You were cooked from the jump. Kurenai then bites her lip to try and get out of Itachi's genjutsu. But as soon as she does, Itachi takes out his kunai and charges at her. She managed to dodge it in time, only losing a few inches of her hair in the process. But Itachi was not finished because before she could even catch her breath, this nigga had a hot and spicy kick to the chest waiting for her. She tried to block it with her hands, but it was to no avail because she still got sent skipping across the water like a pebble. Look at how he held the pose too. You know her sternum is throbbing right now. Asuma screams out in concern for his wifey, but Kisame reminds him that he has much bigger fish to fry. Literally. Get it? Because you know, you're actually a fish. I'm here all week, folks. Kisame then starts swinging his giant sword at Asuma again, except Asuma is on his guard now. He out there dodging every blow, hitting the bachata around them joints. His hips did not tell one fish. After dancing around for a bit longer, he finally decides to play some offense and tries to punch Kisame with his chakra blade. At first glance, it appears that Kisame blocked it, but once we take a closer look, we see that he really gave homeboy an extra gill since the chakra around the blade extends its reach.
There's poison in that blade.
That he's got touched by a nigga with a fake Cartier bracelet on, decides to get serious and boot up this water shark bar.
I mean, it's been so long since I watched this.
Nick of time, the copycat ninja of the leaf pulls off a calm little pull-up and blocks Kisame's jutsu with the same exact one.
Gotcha!
Stepping since day one, he always comes through to save the day. I gotta make a pull-up counter list for all of Naruto because Kakashi has to be in the lead. He even pulled up and saved Kurenai at the same time before Itachi could try and kick another hole into her chest. He is really that guy. Itachi then turns around to take a good look at who has the kunai to his back, and that's when we get the mandatory and iconic Sharingan stare down. Kisame, now in awe that there's someone else who possesses Itachi's eyes, ends up putting 2 and 2 together to determine that the man in front of him is none other than Kakashi Hatake, aka the copycat ninja. But then to one up the glaze, Kakashi lets him know that he knows who he is too. Talking about some.
Imagine my surprise. I go to check out a couple of low-life vagabonds in the tea house, and I find none other than Kisame Hoshigaki, the scourge of the Hidden Mist Village.
How about that? You know my name.
You two done licking the skin off each other's meat sack? You know him, he knows you, we get it. Hurry up and box. But since we're in a chit-chat glazing mood, let me go ahead and slide some self-promo in there real quick and kindly ask you to subscribe to your boy. We are almost at 200K, and you know what they say. Helping somebody get to 200K will keep the bad vibes away.
What?
Nobody says
I'm already subbed.
they do. Shit, that's my favorite saying. That's my favorite. Eventually, Kakashi gets fed up with the small talk, so he reaches behind his back to pull out his kunais. But after seeing that man counter his jutsu with a water shark bomb jutsu equal to his, he wasn't gonna take any chances. So as soon as he seen him reach behind him, he raised his sword, daring him to try it. But before things could get too heated, Itachi stops him and tells him that if he takes Kakashi on, the consequences will be too much. See, you know Kakashi's him. He's not your
Kakashi is him.
But if I'm Asuma on the other hand, I'm taking offense to this. What you intervening with him for? You didn't intervene when he was trying to take a chunk out my shoulder. You must think I'm baby food. Nah, I'd have to pull out my best
baby
most
food.
secret jutsu for this one, cause you not about to just ego me like that in front of the O's. After a bit more banter, Kakashi finally cuts to the chase and asks him for the second time, what is it that he wants here? So Itachi slowly responds by saying,
We're looking for something and we know it's here.
oh my, alright bro, drop the mysterious act, it's enough now. He out here giving us riddles like he the Riddler, just tell us who you're looking for. Kakashi asks him to tell him who exactly he is looking for, but that boy Itachi left that man on scene. So Kakashi, like every black mom angrily teaching
he ain't gonna
asks him the same question with more bass in his voice and a kunai pointed towards him. But instead of answering the question, Itachi basically says, I think I'd rather box than tell you. Then he quickly pulled out 3 shurikens. After noticing the shuriken, Kakashi quickly jumps back, but then he notices something fishy arising from the water. So he quickly boots up a water wall, which thankfully blocked Itachi's attack. It turns out the 3 shurikens were only drawn as a distraction to hopefully catch him off guard with his real attack.
Right.
But thankfully, Kakashi and his Sharingan were able to sniff out the move just in time to block it. Now, I was fully prepared to ride this man Kakashi after this little move, but before I could even formulate my thoughts, this man Itachi says, you're good. You almost anticipated my moves. And that is when we see this man pop up right behind him and nonchalantly stab him in the back. But do not fret, all the Kakashi fangirls, please collect yourself. He was fine. It was just a water flow. The real Kakashi was
there we go.
the water in order
I knew
to
it was
get
gonna
to
be that
Kurama.
easy.
He gives her a kunai, but then immediately pops up out the water and tackles her out the way, because in a split second, Itachi's water clone explodes, nearly swallowing up Kurenai and Kakashi. Asuma jumps down to come to their aid, but thankfully, the blow left both of them untouched. Before the 3 could even devise another plan, Itachi phases in behind them in the most ominous way possible. Kakashi then tells his team to stay on their toes with much more meat munching involved. He talking about some stay on your toes.
This guy was made chief of Anbu Black Ops when he was only 13.
Now, as true as this may be, this information was not necessary. Even Asuma's fed up with the glazing. He responds by saying,
Alright, he's tough, we get it.
Tough? You haven't seen half of what he can do.
Kakashi, shut your ass up. Itachi, now feeling more gassed up than ever, decides to flex on him real quick with a powerful genjutsu known as the Tsukuyon. Kakashi then tells Kurenai and Asuma to close their eyes and that he'll take care of him with his own Sharingan. But as we all know, he did not stand a chance and that man was cooked. As nice as Kakashi is, that fraudulent ass, stolen ass Sharingan will not be enough to defeat this man right here. And Itachi made sure to let him know what a real Uchiha can do, because not even a second after telling Kurenai and Asuma that he's got it under control, Itachi activates his genjutsu, and now this man Kakashi is pinned to a cross in this red and white black Tsukuyomi terrain that basically resembles hell. Itachi then begins to poke this man with his blade, which honestly wouldn't be so bad on its own, but the genjutsu became 10 times more excruciating when this man said,
The next 72 hours will be nothing but this.
72 hours.
What is wrong with this man? And to make matters worse, Kakashi looks over to his right and sees another version of himself getting Swiss cheese like he is right now.
Ah.
Look at his eyes. Listen to the grunts. That man is struggling. But the nail in the coffin was when I realized this man's last defense was to
Going
tell
through so
himself
much.
that this is just a genjutsu.
And where's the other two? Like, why couldn't they do anything?
Kakashi, this is the Itachi Uchiha. You just finished waxing his hot dog stick with your mouth. You know damn well that won't work. There is no way out of this one. After taking what seemed like hundreds of more swords to his body, Itachi reveals that only 1 second has passed. That
Oh,
boy
nah.
is cooked. We then cut back to outside the Tsukuyomi, and we see Kakashi looking like he just aged 20 years. That boy looked tired as hell, eyes fighting to stay open. Now, for some reason, I originally thought Kakashi found a way to escape the Tsukuyomi, but he soon reveals that he actually did the whole 3-day bid. Kakashi is built different, cause I am telling you right now, if that were me, fuck the leaf, fuck Naruto, fuck the whole Kage. That Akatsuki contract would have been signed within the first 2 minutes and 43 seconds of that jump. And that's even being generous. Would have been holding up my crossed out leaf headband like I just got drafted. Kakashi, still determined to know Itachi's plan, asks him if it's Sasuke that he's after. So, impressed by Kakashi's will, finally gives in and tells him that he is here for Naruto. But after exposing his plan, he decides that he can't let them go. So he tells Kisame to capture Kakashi and kill the others. And of course, with his dying thirst for blood and battle, Kisame charges in to complete his task. But by the grace of God, right before the fish stick could sink his teeth into Kakashi, we are blessed with yet another sweet pull-up when Might Guy pops up out of nowhere and hits him with the leaf hurricane. And let's go! Now we got a real fight on our hands. When Might Guy's involved...
Yeah, rest in peace, Asuma. Like, when you're getting showed up by Kakashi and Might Guy, wrap it up.
You know the squabble will be S-tier. But just before I could get all my snacks ready for the second half of the fight, this strategic, logical, big brain ass nigga Itachi tells Kisame that they're pulling out because they didn't come to fight a full-blown battle. Boo! Tomato, 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 tomato. How you gonna tease us like that? I thought we were gonna see Itachi versus Might Guy. That would have been peak cinema. But, unfortunately for us, that almighty face-off never came to fruition. Instead, the Akatsuki duo took off, thus marking the end of the fight. Overall, a very interesting encounter. Anytime two Sharingans match up against each other, we're bound to be entertained. Kakashi gets an A for the clean pull-ups saving these bums and for enduring Itachi's Tsukuyomi. Itachi gets an S for somebody please pray for that healer. Was the Tsukuyomi really necessary? Like, what did you gain from that? Kurenai and Asuma both get a D for getting completely embarrassed in their 1v1s. And Guy, he gets a B+.
That was like, she's a teacher. Like, how do you get, like, how do you go down so easily?
For pulling up and scaring the Akatsuki duo away with just his aura alone. So boom! The scene kicks off with the Akatsuki huddled up in this cave doing what the Akatsuki do best. They over here plotting and scheming while also sucking the soul out of Gaara, extracting every ounce of Shikaku by the minute. But they also know that a bunch of Hidden Leaf and Sand Shinobi are on their way to snatch him back. So they all decide that in order to get this done, someone's gotta go out there and fight them to buy them more time. But before Itachi could even finish proposing the idea, this nigga Kisame is begging him to be the chosen one. I volunteer as tribute. Ass boy, I've never seen someone so eager to take a L in my life. That man got a slight taste of Guy's aura from the last time he was in the league, and he's had a crush on him ever since. We then put
that makes sense.
Running through this desert-like terrain, determined to find Gaara. But while running, Pakun smells a nasty, rotten tuna fish odor approaching him. So Neji wastes no time activating his Byakugan to fix
fish out the threat. And after a few seconds of observation, he breaks his neck like he just seen a donkey walk by and tells them that the threat is behind them. So they all whip their heads in the opposite direction, and that's when we see this giant blade slicing through the terrain, looking like a shark on the prowl. The blade eventually smashed into a boulder, causing a bunch of debris to obstruct everyone's view. But once the dust fades, we see the aquatic roach posed up like he modeling for GQ. Who is this nigga feeling like he the off-guard pose? Buddy is trying to look all nonchalant. Nigga, nothing is over there. What are you looking at? And if that wasn't embarrassing enough, his oral farm attempt becomes even more of a failure when Guy hits him with the "Who the fuck is this nigga?" Almost busting a blood vessel, trying his hardest to remember where he knows this beast from. Kisame, now feeling very insulted, fires back by saying his memory is as bad as his haircut and that his intelligence is subhuman. So I instantly hit the pause button and rewinded just to make sure I heard that correctly, because there's no way this nigga wants to talk about looks. First off, please chill on my guy's supercuts ass haired. Is it hot ass? Yes. But can he still whoop your ass? Also, yes.
Yeah.
Secondly, you have no right to be talking about subhuman anything. Nigga, you're subhuman. Looking like you snuck on the earth. What even are you? Extraterrestrial ass nigga. With a face like that, you had no choice but to become a villain. Nothing about you.
Man, I'll be darned if I let some fish man talk about my looks.
Give safety. After attempting to jog Guy's memory a little bit more, he eventually gives up on talking and decides to give him a more visual demonstration of who he really is. So he throws Samehada into the air, then claps his hands together to boot up his exploding water shockwave jutsu, and now the entire landscape is being flooded with water while Kisame surfs on the wave towards them. So Team Guy jumps out the way to avoid the first set of waves. Then this nigga Kisame triples the height of the next one and tries to swallow up Guy with it, but Guy quickly retreats just in time. Neji then decides to put his Byakugan to use and starts glazing this nigga's chakra level, stating that his levels are on par with Naruto's, which is why he's able to use such chakra-consuming jutsus. They do not call him the tailless tail beast for nothing. But mid-glaze, a giant wave comes rushing towards them, so they all jump out of the way. But while in the air, Kisame emerges from beyond this wave and tries to slice Guy in half. So Guy dodges the swing, then attempts to kick his head off, but unfortunately for him, it was just a water clone. Kisame clearly geeked off that fake out, tries to slice up Guy a few more times, but Guy weaves both attacks. Then Lee joined the battle by kicking Kisame's wrist, causing his sword to fly out of his hand. The jumping then becomes even more
jumping. Let's
when
go!
Neji leaves this nigga no room to catch his breath by hitting him with a nasty 8 trigrams air palm, which sent him flying back. And to put the cherry on top, Tenten, with no instructions, just pure battle IQ, rushes a giant kunai spiked ball right at his face, which he blocked. But Tenten, with the big brain play, made this a triple threat attack by slapping a paper bomb on it and letting that thing blow right up in his face. Not only attempting to turn him into tuna confetti, but also attempting to stab him up with one of the kunais. Now, Kisame did manage to swim away unscathed, but this is a perfect example of effort being able to take you very far. Some of y'all think I just hate for no reason, and that's simply not true. This nigga is a walking storage unit, no other redeeming qualities, and still she is more effective than Sakura. After searching for him for a little bit, Neji sniffs him out, forcing him to reveal himself. So he rises back to his feet, ready for round 2, and in the blink of an eye, Guy Sensei jumps in the air ready to attack. Kisame then charges in towards him and swings his giant sword at Guy, forcing him to flip out the way. So Neji tries to take advantage of the opening by hitting him with a gentle fist, but that jump unsurprisingly gets blocked with ease. He then flips out the way and allows Rock Lee to sub in with this garbage ass attack, but Kisame swats that nigga so hard his bummy weapon splits in two while also sending him flying back to a rock. All 3 of those failed attempts have them brainstorming some more on how to defeat him, but my goat Tenten connected the dots first and says that if close range attacks don't work, then long distance attacks will. So she whips out her sword and sends
a bunch of kunais with paper bombs attached to them zooming towards Fish Stick's face, but he blocked them all with his sword. Then shortly after the paper bombs detonate, this goof starts talking about something. How'd you like that? See, you're about to piss me off now. You don't have a single move in your arsenal that gives you the confidence to say, how do you like that? No. Every one of your attacks should be followed by a quick prayer begging the man above to let it have done some type of damage. Keep it humble. To nobody's surprise but Tenten's, Kisame emerges from the smoke untouched. And now the hamster wheel in Guy Sensei's head is slowly starting to turn. Talking about something. Of course, that sword of his.
That weapon. It's yours, right?
Whose else could it be?
Who else could it be? Are you
clues, including the sword, the robe, and let's not forget his 6'6" Michael Jordan X Great White Shark build. He's still unable to remember him. And at this point, the insults from Kisame are becoming valid. Because now that I'm thinking about it, how the hell do you forget a tall-ass aquatic roach that infiltrated your village? No, get this man an MRI stat. He definitely got a slight case of CTE. Guy eventually gets sick of being insulted by Kisame and now his students, so he zestily jumps in the air and cocks back his fist to plant one on him, but that jump gets blocked. Kisame then blocks another attack, weaves this kick, then counters with a sword swing that Guy manages to dodge. So Guy charges back in with another knuckle sandwich, but Kisame catches that fist with ease. Guy then tries to kick the gills off Kisame's face, which he dodges, but the attack was also meant to steal Kisame's sword, so he hooks the hand start. But Samehada is not no hoe. You can't just use her body all willy-nilly, so she saves him by pushing out her spikes just in time, forcing Guy to let go. And now my guy is stuck watching his most cherished students and Tenten waste away in the water sphere. And if we thought things already weren't going in his favor, Kisame's sword zooms back over to its master, leaving Guy Sensei in an even worse position than he started. But since Kisame's out here abusing weapons, Guy reaches into his backpack to grab a little mouse tool, then starts switching that fish. He actually whipped out some nunchucks. If I'm being honest, I often find it unsettling and kind of cringy when niggas do all this extra stuff before fight. Like, brother, are we fighting or having a dance battle? Let me know. But I'll give Guy a thing hysterically while charging at Guy. So Guy charges at him too, and now the real fight has commenced. I may cook Kisame a lot. Weave. Ultra Instinct mode activated. And Guy tries to hit him with a front flip heel kick, but not only does he prepare to block it, Samehada with two then separate and start running side by side until another water clone appears behind.
It takes so much strength to pause your kick before getting stabbed.
It's just too nice. Kisame then complements that attack perfectly by grabbing Samehada and attempting to chop Guy in half. Now Guy is trying his best to hold him off with the nunchucks, and you can tell Kisame's strength is nothing to play with. Eyes widened, nostrils flared, teeth clenched. He really giving Guy a run for his money. He even cocks his fist back and punches Guy down all the way to the bottom of this deep ass ocean that he created. And if things weren't looking bad enough, this man Kisame slaps his hand on the water talking about some water style 5 hungry sharks. Since Tenten's chakra faded,
Naruto is so good.
Running out of time, so I immediately shot up on my feet because I just knew the cook-up was gonna be spectacular. With every gate that passed, I became more and more giddy, grinning from ear to ear like a kid on Christmas. Once we got to the 6th gate though, that's when shit really got wicked, because the aura was so strong it managed to push all the water around him back, leaving Kisame stunned and upset. Neji and the others could obviously sense the commotion taking place around us, so like the G he is, he took advantage of Guy's distraction and 8 trigram 64 palmed his way out of the prison. Then there was only one more Kisame to take care of, so Guy hawked that man down and kicked the shit out of Kisame with such speed that his leg caught on fire. Kisame didn't even have time to recover from that punch because Guy teleported in front of him and gave bro the fastest, most fiery barrage of punches I've ever seen. The man was getting cooked figuratively and literally. Fried fish was definitely on the menu because this alien
having fried fish for dinner.
Indeed.
the deciding blow. And now Kisame's body is sizzling on the ground while Guy and the others walk over to see the damage that's been done. But
At least
once
the
they
water's
get a
gone.
close enough look, they see that the man that is laid out before them is definitely not the water roach they were just fighting, meaning that got confusion and also bringing about the end of this fight.
So boom! The scene kicks off with Killer Bee in the forest with his friend Sabu and this overgrown raccoon named Ponta. They out here busting a sweat, training real hard, but not the type of training you're probably thinking about. This man B is out here training his throat. My boy is over here singing his heart instead, cause at least you were going somewhere with that. Not anywhere far, but still. Like, really listen to this man. You telling me something's not off? Yeah, I might have to put him in that same boat as Lee. A lot of extra charisma, but also an extra chromosome. After putting on that sorry performance, Sabu fries the hell out of him, letting him know how bad he did. But while he was frying up B, Ponta turns around and sees Kisame slowly walking towards them. Killer Bee peeps the Akatsuki robe and quickly puts 2 and 2 together. That man is here to collect the 8 tails. So in a heartbeat, he tells Sabu to step his petite fun-sized self to the side so that he can take care of business. Kisame then tells Killer Bee that he's been searching high and low for him, and that his blade Samehada has been itching to get a taste of his juicy chocolate. But this bad Killer Bee must have been practicing the next set of garbage bars he had planned to respond with, because he completely disregarded the fact that Kisame just said he has a sword that wants to eat his chakra. Instead, he just starts flexing.
You know what, serious? We gotta write his next line before he fights you.
Characters always the corniest ones. Before B or Kisame could make the first move, Ponta charges at the aquatic roach to rip him right to shreds. But I already knew that overgrown raccoon did not have enough XP to put a scratch on Kisame. So when I seen Tuna Man reach for Samehada, then create this double XL explosion, I knew he was cooked. Look at this dude flat on his back looking like some roadkill. He's not even knocked out for real. He's just not trying to fight anymore. Like, look at how tight he closing his eyes, nigga. You're caught. Kisame then decides to use the fact that Ponta attacked first as bait to get Killer Bee out of his character. Talking about some, wow, B, you really gonna let that bear show you up? But after watching his pet get one-shotted like that, Sabu in a fit of rage jumps down with a blade that's bigger than his entire body and begins to yell at Kisame screaming, Ponta's not a bear, he's a raccoon! Nigga, we do not care.
Nobody cares.
Deer. At the end of the day, he still got knocked on his back in 0.2 of a second. Quickest 1v1 in the history of Naruto. Even faster than Tamari vs. Tenten. Kisame with no hesitation gears up to give Sabu the same treatment he gave Ponta. But mid-strike, Killer Bee launches a chakra-infused pencil at his face. Kisame swiftly dodges it, then jumps and swings at Killer Bee. But Bee quickly jumps out the way. Sabu tries to catch him off guard and swings at him with his giant axe, so Kisame blocks the blow with Samehada. But to my surprise, instead of using this time to spit some more doo-doo garbage bars, he instead launches one of the blades at the side of Kisame's head, slides around to the backside, then charges at him with another chakra blade. Okay, big brain play from a pea-brain individual. This is what we like to see. Now 2 blades are headed straight towards Kisame, so he makes the wise decision to take the damage from the first blade, then block the second. Bee and Sabu are both in shock that his chakra-covered blade didn't pierce Samehada, and that is when I came to the conclusion that their ears must be ringing from the treacherous notes B was trying to hit earlier, because he literally made this clear in the beginning of the fight. He finally realizes what's going on and decides to boot up his 8-tail cloak. He then tries to hit Kisame with the headbutt of doom, but his headbutt was quickly nullified when Samehada sucked enough chakra out of him to take away his 8-tail cloak. Now they're forehead to forehead, and Kisame's talking even more junk. I just know Killer Bee's nose hairs are slowly disintegrating from Kisame's tuna breath. Plus, Kisame stays talking in that breathy ass voice, talking about some, it's
very
rare
rare
that
that
Samehada gets worked up.
That means you're worthy of shredding.
Brother, please close those fish lips and let's just box, because I'm starting to smell that junk through the screen. Kisame then unwraps Samehada to really get down to business, so Killer Bee boots up another tail beast cloak and charges at Kisame while delivering this sorry ass one-liner. But you know what? I feel like I hate too much, so I want y'all to tell me if this one hit.
Hey, did you know? Did I know what? In the wild, octopi eat sharks!
I like the passion, but the actual bar itself, I don't know about that one. That knocked out their ass ball. I'm not feeling it. Once he finally
it's okay, they can all be winners.
He extends his blade to pierce Samehada, but the blade weaves the attack. Then Kisame uses it to catapult him to the other side while simultaneously stealing his chakra. Now Samehada is growing even bigger while growling like a T-Rex, so you know he's even stronger now. But just when I thought B had his back against the wall,
pretty scary when your weapon growls at you.
Very impressive brainstorming. After seeing that he only has one tail left. He's able to deduce that Samehada can only eat 6 chakra tails worth of chakra, considering that he originally started off with 7. So to overwhelm him with chakra, he decides to up the intensity. The 8 tail tells him to go into full 8 tail state, but B immediately tells that boy to calm down. B knows that Ponta and Sabu would accidentally get turned into abstract paintings if it got taken there. So instead, they both agree to settle for version 2 state. Clap that up. I gotta give it to B for the intelligence he just showed during this brainstorm session. Cause I'm not gonna lie, I would have been fighting for hours before I would even start to think about how much chakra his blade could handle at once. Now B's standing there staring Kisame down in that clean ass version 2 state while Samehada shakes in excitement. So with zero hesitation, Killer B quickly charges at Kisame, then shoulder checks the fish guts out of him, sending him flying into a tree. Samehada was able to suck up enough chakra to reduce him to version 1 state. However, it was not enough to nullify the blow, because when the camera panned down, we see this roach sitting there with a gigantic hole in his midsection. Now, as sweet as this sight was, before I had the chance to get up and celebrate, the handle of Samehada slithers up his sleeve, then the hole in his midsection begins to close up. It turns out that Samehada used the chakra that it stole from B to heal him up. So essentially, the stronger and more durable his opponent is, the stronger Kisame gets. What kind of Saiyan Zenkai boost type of junk is this? These Akatsuki members always got something up their sleeve. Just go ahead and wrap it up, because you are cooked. Kisame's ready to put an end to this fight, so he hits them all with his water-style super exploding water shock wave jutsu. Damn, nigga, what the? You couldn't have named it something shorter, bitch? I almost got a stroke reading that. Now all 3 of them are trapped in this giant water sphere, and the longer the battle drags on, the stronger he will get. So Killer B's only game plan now is to take him away from his blade. But unfortunately for them, Kisame makes this 10 times harder by merging with Samehada. Now Tuna Man is staring them down, looking like some sort of shark-type Pokemon. Kisame then eggs him on to throw the first blow, but Killer B quickly turns around, grabs Ponta and Sabu, then turns on the jets like he's Michael Phelps.
Can't face the Pokemon yet.
Won't be able to survive long in this water sphere, so his main goal right now is to get them up on out of there. But after trying to swim away from Kisame for a minute or so, the 8-tail tells Killer B that the water sphere moves with Kisame, so as long as he continues to chase them, they'll never escape. So they come to the conclusion that their best bet is to leave them and swim in another direction, since it's only them that he's after. But Kisame out here playing chess, because instead of chasing after B, he charges right at Ponta. Killer B obviously refuses to let anybody die on his watch, so he rushes right towards Kisame. But as soon as he gets close enough, Kisame spins around and stabs B with the bones that he pushed out through his fins. B quickly counters and grabs Kisame with his suckers, and now they're over there entangled, looking like a National Geographic scene. Now that Killer B has a grasp on Kisame, he drags him in the opposite direction, ultimately freeing Sabu and the Choji-sized raccoon from the sphere. Now this is a W for B, but only momentarily, because it seemed as though Killer B had almost reached the end of his air supply and chakra. So after draining him for a bit longer, Kisame backs up and stares at Killer B's limp body while talking that smack. But all of a sudden, Killer B perks up and hits Kisame with a neck scream.
I knew he had something in his sleeve.
Retreat, but because Kisame's body is merged with Samehada, he can sense chakra through his skin, which enabled him to track down B and hit him with these back-to-back-to-back combos. That man was really giving it to him like it was personal. Jesus Christ. Relax. After beating the ink out of him for a few more seconds, he releases B from the water sphere and separates himself from Samehada. Now at first I thought, damn, he really about to haul my boy away like how they did Gaara. That is tough. But my disappointment quickly turned into panic when this man said,
It would be bothersome if you regained consciousness and went into tailed beast state. So I think I'll remove your legs, just to be safe.
Come again? Now I was really panicking, screaming for someone to come help this man. Losing an arm in Naruto is one thing. Give that nigga some Hashirama cells and he'll be straight. But both of his legs? Nah, that is OD. Kisame raises his hand, then swings the blade at his legs, but out of nowhere, Samehada digs itself into the ground, then spikes up his handle to force Kisame to let go. And now it's standing in front of B, growling at Kisame like an overprotected pit bull. Well, I'll be damned. I was not expecting that switch up, but I don't care. I'm still not about to forgive and forget. You was just sucking him dry and now you want to switch sides? Nah, stay over there. Samehada even goes as far as to give B some of the chakra that he stole. And boy, does this have Kisame ready to crash out like every man who's fumbled his first baddie. He yells at Samehada in disgust, then football punts the fish scales out of him. So to finish off the job, he instead grabs B's
I didn't know the weapon had a conscience.
Just before he could be the next Michael Jordan for a wheelchair basketball league, he turns around and throws a chakra-infused pencil right at his face. Kisame manages managed to barely dodge it, but this right here was where his luck begins to end. Because in the flash of lightning, Killer Bee's blade gets chopped in half, and that is when we see the Raikage posted up with his boots, daring him to lay another hand on
Reinforcements.
Samehada then crawls over to B and gives him some of his chakra back, so he immediately boots up his chakra cloak. And that right there already told me what time it was. The Raikage then gives him the signal, and within a split second, both of them run towards him to complete one of my favorite finishers in all of Naruto. Kisame's head then goes flying off his body, and now everyone can rejoice. Now, as happy as we all were, the Raikage chose to turn down the opportunity to celebrate, and instead, he chews out B for wandering off and getting into the fight in the first place. Now, to all my dons with the memory of a goldfish such as myself, who are currently still dancing around their room, I unfortunately have to pop your bubble of happiness and remind you that they did not, in fact, kill Kisame. Tuna Man somehow managed to switch himself out with White Zetsu while fighting in the water sphere. But you know what? I'm still gonna give B a small to medium-sized W for escaping that fight with his legs intact and a new blade. Overall, a pretty peak fight. Love him or hate him, but Kisame really deserves that Tailless Tail Beast title because this really felt as if I was watching two Jinchurikis go at it. B gets an A- for his quick thinking and for keeping the Dookie bars to a minimum, and Sabe and Choji get an F for getting one-shotted in the beginning while also being a burden to B the whole fight. I don't really want to. So boom, Naruto, Yamato, and Killer Bee congratulating Naruto on mastering the ability to control the Nine Tails chakra. Naruto and Killer Bee over there turning up because he unlocked the new DLC.
I haven't seen Naruto and Killer Bee scenes.
Naruto starts to give them the rundown on how he unlocked his new skin, but mid-sentence, he senses that somebody is in the room. He immediately calls out the intruder, and all of a sudden, the sword on B's back starts to grow larger. Then we see Kisame pop out of Samehada. Kisame is shocked that he got found out because he blended his chakra in with Samehada. But to be honest, I don't think any amount of chakra suppression can hide the stench that is emanating off your body. Look at how you look. I know he smells like expired tuna and dirty pond water. Realistically, Naruto's new Kurama chakra mode gives him elite sensory ability, so that's how he was able to scope him out so easily. Killer Bee's over there surprised that Kisame's even still alive since he thought he popped his cap off. So he starts interrogating him on how he's still alive, but Kisame not trying to answer too many questions because he got intel to deliver, so he slithers on out of there with Samehada. Naruto with his freshly unlocked abilities is not about to let him get away that easy, so he teleports to him in the speed of light and punches him right in his back. Yamato and Killer Bee see this and they immediately start gassing him up. They over there talking about some, oh my gosh, he's so fast, just like his father Minato. But the hype of the moment is quickly destroyed when Kisame brushes that punch off like it was nothing and slithers out the door. Naruto tries to chase him, but he can't because he got his foot stuck in the wall. He over there screaming, I can't get out, damn it. Nigga, if you don't Hulk smash the wall and chase after him, I know you not letting this stop you from the chase. If that was Sasuke running out that door, this man would have chopped off his whole leg just to go out there and chase him. He don't want this kill for real. The camera then cuts to Guy being peer pressured by these two other shinobis to look into this waterfall and confront his true self. Guy originally says no, but Buddy over here activates his instigating badge to get Guy to go to the waterfall. Hey, I understand, Guy, it's okay. If I was a sorry shinobi with no ninjutsu and a cut like that, then I wouldn't want to confront my true self either. Those few words alone was all Guy needed to hear because he immediately jumps in front of the waterfall. But instead of meeting his true self, Kisame pops out the other side looking like a creature from the upside down. Like, I know he's supposed to be a fish boy, but what is that? Kishimoto was cooking something devious with his character design, because something about his face just makes me itch. Guy immediately rushes at him and hits him with a hard kick to the face, sending him flying into some rocks. Guy's IQ is very questionable because for a second, he really thought that was his true self. But upon further inspection, he comes to the conclusion that it's a pufferfish. The other ninjas start cussing him out for being so dumb, but I'm honestly not even fazed. I'm used to Guy's IQ. You can't expect genius from a nigga with a bowl cut. But don't get it twisted though, because what he lacks up here, he packs down here. But not like that, I'm talking about his hands. Samehada separates himself from Kisame and ends up running to B. So now they can see that it's Kisame, except they can tell that he's much weaker. Alright. It's the last time I'ma comment on his looks, but look at this man. He looked like an aquatic roach. He had no choice but to be evil and join the Akatsuki. Like, imagine this nigga coming to save you from a house fire. Nah, I'd rather learn. I'm not coming with that creature. While all the ninjas are distracted looking at B and Samehada. Kisame slips under the water, swims over to Samehada, then grabs the handle to suck out the chakra from B. The two other ninjas try to warn him, but it's too late. Kisame already done sucked out everything he needed. This ninja tries to stop him by throwing these kunais at him, but Kisame blocks them with his arm, then begins to extract chakra out of him. It didn't even take 5 whole seconds for this man to drop to his knees. Them chakra reserves are shallow as hell, and while this one's getting drained, the other one over here just watching. Nigga, throw a shuriken or something, damn. But instead of taking action, he watches his comrade fall to his knees and then dips out the sea. Guy Sensei is ready to throw hands at all times, so he charges in and hits him with a leaf hurricane. But like a ugly dude sliding into a dime's DM, that junk gets rejected. Now that Kisame's chakra is fully recharged, he activates his shark bomb jutsu and bodies Guy with his water shark while attempting to make an escape. The no-name ninja then starts yelling talk about he's fast and he's getting away, we gotta stop him. We? Oh, you speak French now, because you can't mean we as in all of y'all. I just watch you turn on the jets just from seeing your partner drop to his knees. You not doing anything. But honestly, it don't even matter because we got a real go-getter on the squad. Guy steps up to the plate and tells them to step aside. He then immediately gets serious and opens up the 6th inner gate. Look at him, he's on timing. No talk, all action. That's a taijutsu king right there. Do not play with him. Killer Bee then enlarges his hand and launches my guy. Now Guy up there soaring through the clouds, scoping the scenery out. He's trying his best to locate Kisame, but then he realizes he needs another boost. So what does this man do? He summons Franklin the turtle and says, I need to borrow your back. Then proceeds to Mario jump off of him, sending the turtle crashing into the ground. First off, I need to borrow your back? Pause. Secondly, this is disrespectful on so many levels. You're telling me these summons just living their life and can randomly be called in the middle of a battle at any time. Franklin even says, I haven't seen you in forever and this is what you called me for? His feelings are hurt. Being called upon just to be used as a trampoline is crazy. I might even put this over the time Sasuke summoned Manda just to protect him from an explosion because this is nasty work. Kisame thinks he's in the clear now, so he summons a shark, regurgitates a scroll full of intel, then gives it to the shark and sends him on his way. But before the shark could even get far, Guy comes crashing down, ready to stop him in his tracks. Kisame not going out easy, so he activates his 1,000 hungry shark jutsu and sends them to Guy. But my man is not fazed in the slightest. Guy just standing in front of all of them, trying to scope out which shark got the intel. But he can't single it out, so instead he jumps in the air and starts punching so hard that friction causes fire to come out. Do you know how hard you gotta punch the air to create fireballs? Listen to the grunts this man is making. Guy is really just built different. Some of the sharks get destroyed by Guy's fireball blast, but it's still not enough to get rid of them all. Guy determines that he has to expand the blast radius, so he dives in the water and opens up the 7th gate. Kisame's over there looking at this transformation, and he starts giving Guy his flowers, but he says something that made me raise an eyebrow. A shinobi this skilled in taijutsu is rare, although I have known 2 others. I beg your pardon?
Yeah,
2 other what? Who
are the 2 others?
Lee's nice. Guy's dad is nice, but they still not touching Guy, so who is Buddy talking about? Nah, cause he about to get me tight. Kisame ready to wrap this up, so he activates his super
I don't think they ever tell us.
But to counter, Mike Guy busts out his Hirudora. Now Kisame's giant shark and Mike Guy's giant tiger are charging at each other. And at first, Kisame had the biggest smile on his face. He knows that when his giant shark gets a hold of Guy's Hirudora, all the chakra from that attack will get absorbed. But little does he know that it don't work. There's no way out of this. This is why it's important to read the scouting report, because my guy's Hirudora isn't fueled by chakra. It's fueled by the power of you. My guy's Hirudora ends up completely overtaking Kisame's shark bomb and ultimately wipes all the other sharks out completely. The cameraman then pans to Yamato, Killer Bee, Naruto, and the no-name ninjas, seeing the explosion caused by Guy's attack. Everyone's confused as to what they're seeing, but Yamato lets them know that it's Guy's afternoon tiger attack called the Hirudora. Naruto's hating ass takes a second to digest that name and then says, Hirudora? What a lame name for a jutsu. I thought Guy Sensei wanted to sound like a young shinobi, not some old dork. Naruto, shut up with your hating ass. Where your parents at? Huh? How about that? The Hirudora turns out to be so strong that they end up feeling the blast radius from there. The blast starts to calm down, and then we see Guy Sensei standing over Kisame with the scroll in his hand like he just posterized him in a Game 7. Kisame is still baffled by Guy's Hirudora, starts asking questions about the jutsu. Guy then tells him that the Hirudora is taijutsu that doesn't use chakra. It's just an ordinary punch. Then he goes on to start explaining the exact mechanics of the punch, talking about some it's a focus blast of pressurized air after initial compression. Alright nigga, that's enough. I don't need a whole science lesson on how it works. You wanna be Bill Nye so bad. Kisame then demands to know what the blue aura around him is, and Guy proceeds to tell him that it is sweat evaporating off of his skin. I honestly don't know if I should be impressed or disgusted, but honestly I'm a little bit of both. How hard are you to produce this much sweat? You only been fighting for damn near 5 minutes. Kisame then starts yapping, trying to delay his impending doom, talking about this is the 3rd time we've clashed, and I can't believe you still have moves like this up your sleeve.
Although, you don't seem to remember me.
But what makes this part really funny is how Guy just aired the message. He really left that junk unheard, didn't even bother responding. They just staring at each other, not saying a word, until Kisame twitches his thumb ever so slightly. But even that little movement was enough for Guy to punch him right in the stomach. After rearranging his guts, Guy hauls him back to the squad where Yamato restrains him with his wood style. The shinobi that got dropped in the beginning then tries to infiltrate the mind of Kisame to get intel. But before he can get anything useful, this fishman Kisame bit off his own tongue to will himself awake and prevent him from getting any intel. That boy is a ride or die for real. You see, this is someone you want to do crime with, cause he's gonna stay 10 toes down no matter what. Not me though. Y'all stay safe. I'll stay half a pinky toe down at best. You're telling me I'm supposed to hug a 10-year sentence because of something you did? Yeah, I don't think so. Go ahead and bring me that Wendy's Baconator combo so I can start reading off them names. Even though Yamato was suppressing his chakra, Kisame off of pure strength alone breaks himself out the grips of Yamato's wood and then traps himself in a water prison. Guy tries to punch a hole through it, but he's unable to penetrate the barrier. So Yamato starts to boot up his wood style in an attempt to get him out, but both of their efforts are futile because Kisame has already made up his mind. This man proceeds to summon 3 sharks inside the water prison, then allows them to rip him into shreds, ultimately unaliving himself for good. Now everyone just standing there in disbelief, and eventually they start giving him his flowers. You know how it be after someone passes. Now they say all the best things about them. He was such a sweetheart and a joy to be around. He didn't deserve this. What are you talking about? That man punched 3 babies in the dome and has 7 bodies in 6 different states. I'm surprised it didn't happen sooner. Overall, A-tier fight. Kisame definitely put his skill, willpower, and determination on full display, but ultimately it was Guy and his squad that got the W in the end.
I don't really want to know.
Yeah, very good video. But wait, who are the 2 other taijutsu ninjas that Kisame knows? But yeah, anyway, if you guys don't know Kage the Don, please go check him out. He makes great Naruto videos and other stuff. So yeah, please go check him out. Very good video.